Tarot. I'm going to do a twin flame reading, and it's questions you may have about your separation, but we're afraid to ask. So this reading is for Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine, because we're going to get both sides of the story, answers from both perspectives. It's for those of you who are semi into your, or towards the end of your journey, in a separation with little to no contact, and you're just not able at this time to have open and honest communication with that person. So we have some questions. Let me try to fix that. We have some questions that we're going, like I said, we're going to ask, and we'll get viewpoints from the Divine Masculine's point of view, and then from the Feminine's point of view, and then we have a couple questions that we're asking for guidance from Spirit. So the decks that I'm going to be using, so I shuffled them up. I have the Twin Flame Tarot by Mystic Moon and Queen of Light 1111. I have the Mystic Moon Oracles, the Lover's Oracle, and then these cute little decks. This is the Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine Speak from the Heart. So we have the feminine and the masculine side as well. And then I have the Romance Angels. So we're going to get some messages, some answers to some questions. So let's get this out of the way, and we're going to get this started. The Oracle, and then we have Tarot, Romance Angels, and over here, and then this will be the feminine and the masculine. Okay, so we're all set. So let's go into the first question. So the first question that we have is, when you first met, how did you feel about your counterpart? So we'll get the Divine Masculine's response first. So when you first met Divine Masculine, how did you feel about your feminine? So we have Winter. We have Rigid. We have Steady. And we have Solid Offer. So what I'm getting from that is that the Divine Masculine, when, they first met, the feelings were that, well, I got to pump the brakes here. He might have been overcome with emotion, or overcome with, racing thoughts, or, not being able to kind of get clarity. He kind of saw plans for the future, saw them together. But he wanted to take it slow and steady. He wanted to take it slow. But, he saw this as a solid opportunity. So what else? Codependency. So he saw this as being someone, he could get addicted to. That, the attraction and the magnetic pull of this relationship was nothing that he felt before. And this could lead to codependency, and he didn't, want to have that in the relationship. And then we have Wait, don't rush into it, allow nature to take its course. So, what I'm getting here as this sort of fleshes out is that he had to pump the brakes. He had to put this on hold. Possibly he was the runner, and he felt like things were moving too fast and really wanted to slow it down. Maybe things in his life at that time were not conducive to, this type of relationship, this connection. So what would he have to say? I know I acted cold and indifferent sometimes. It's a defense mechanism. So he went cold. He put a freeze on this relationship because he did want to make a solid offer. He did want to make plans for the future. He wanted things to move, but he wanted them to move more slowly. And things were just moving way too fast. Okay. So that's the masculine's answer. So let's find out what the feminine would say. So when you first met feminine, how did you feel about your masculine? We have guide. Addiction. Nurturing. On the King of Flames. So when they first met, she felt that this was some sort of, she was guided to him, that this was destiny, that this was part of her path. She too felt this codependent possibility. She was addicted to him, addicted to the way he felt. She wanted to nurture him. She knew that he was going through something in his life and wanted to help him become, the king that she saw. So when she saw him, she saw the king that he was worth inside, and maybe not what he thought of himself. Let's get a romance angel. This could be the one. So she also saw this connection sort of being a long term, like this is the one, this is my destiny, this is my person, and she knew that right from the start. Said passion. A magnetic and seductive quality surrounds you at present. So there was a lot of magnetism here. There was a lot of passion between the two of them prior to them going into separation. But then she says, I feel like I need closure or some kind of resolution. So what I'm getting from this is she really saw this as destiny. She saw this connection coming together. This could be the one. This is my person. She saw a king to match her queen. That someone she could nurture, someone she could take care of. And then it was kind of put on hold. It was frozen. So she never really got any kind of closure. She never really got any rhyme or reason. It just sort of cut off and ended right then and there. So that's the first question. This over here. All right, so the second question, how did you feel when we separated? So we'll ask the masculine. So how did the separation make you feel? How did you feel about having to put this connection on ice and, sort of walk away abruptly? We have release. Swift. Fantasy. Night vision. So what I'm getting from this is that he felt like maybe it was too good to be true. Like it was part of a fantasy. He, was trying to see clearly through what was happening, but he needed to release. He needed a release. There was a lot of things going on at the time, and it just wasn't the right time. So he knew he had to kind of step away from it fairly quickly. Getting to know each other. So they were just getting to know each other. He was starting to reveal himself to her, and the bond was deepening, and he knew that, he had to kind of pump the brakes on it, that it wasn't time. He wasn't ready. And it says, when it comes to matters of the heart, there's no right or wrong. Every choice you make expands your understanding of life and love. So this was a lesson for him. This was a lesson for him about love and about living life, and whether the decision to put things on ice and really release this and kind of run away from it, when it comes to matters of the heart, there's really no right or wrong. It was just something he felt he had to do. I worry about being able to come up to your expectations. So maybe he had some self-worth issues. Maybe, his situation might have been something that would have held him back from treating her the way he wanted to. So what I'm getting here is some regret that, he kind of ran away from it and felt this way. All right, so let's ask the feminine. How did you feel within yourself? How did you feel when you separated from the divine masculine? Solitude. Rejection. Union. And wisdom. So for the feminine, she felt alone. She felt rejected at first. She really thought that this was going to be, this blissful union, this, commitment, this, he was her person. But she knew that there was something to be learned from this separation, that the separation was going to bring them some sort of lesson that they had to learn between the two of them. So we have flirt, extend your lighthearted energies. So what I get with that card is that even though, she knew that there was a lesson to be learned, and she did feel the rejection and it hurt, she was trying to keep the energy high and light because she knew that it was necessary. And then we have freedom. There's nothing stopping you. The path is clear if you want it to be. So she felt a sense of freedom, even though she was, kind of on her own. She knew that this was part of her path that she needed to walk, alone as an individual and learn her individual lessons. But knowing that this was her destiny and knowing that this was her person, she had to believe that he would return. So she says, I wish with all my heart that you would figure out who we are to each other. So, she knew that this was her person. She knew about this connection, that it was a significant connection. And she really wanted to get that point across to him, to her masculine, knowing that he, wasn't quite sure about it. This might have been something that scared him because it did come so quickly and so, passionately. And, the way he picked up and left, that it was sort of something that was stressful on him. And she really wanted him to come to the realization, the same realization that she knew, that this was a significant connection. Okay, so the next question, what do you regret most about the separation? So from the divine masculine's perspective, what was the biggest regret about the separation? What is the biggest regret about masculine? Oop. Material world. Good times. Nightmare. The witch. So his biggest regret was that he might have sort of had to concentrate more on his material world, that he got wrapped up, in his finances or in his current situation. And he had to walk away from some good times. He went through some very bad times too, with the nightmares, this 9 of Swords type of energy. The Witch card, excuse me, is about manifesting. It's about trying to, come back to, his intentions and his wishes and his dreams and things that he could have planned. Because we saw in his first question, he was kind of in the planning stage. He was looking ahead and things that he might have had planned in his head with this connection. So he really wanted to sort of manifest those intentions and bring them back. And, he missed the good times because things got very, very 3D, very real to him after the separation. And then we have engagement. So he might have been thinking, like I said, long term, about this commitment and sort of, this is the one, and, thinking of an engagement or kind of leveling up this connection. And he regrets that didn't happen. And he didn't manifest that for himself or the good times that he missed. It says emotions are a natural and necessary part of life, but they can also distort your perception and cloud your vision. In order to see things clearly, you must let go of resentment. So he might have detached from his heart and from his emotions because things were just too hard for him at the time. And they were clouding his judgment in his material world, and he had to focus really on his physical environment and things that were immediately around him. And this connection really didn't have a place in that space. I'm afraid of getting addicted to you and lost in you. So like we saw in his, his other question, the codependency card. So it was something that the feeling that he had when he was with the feminine was very addicting to him and very, he could really rely on that and become codependent because that was overtaking his thoughts and really taking his focus off of things he needed to focus on in the material world. So that scared him, that something would overtake him to that extent that would take his focus away from his responsibilities and things that he needed to do. So let's ask the feminine. So to the feminine, what do you regret most about the separation? Compromise. Transformation. Planning. Sensitive. So what I'm getting here is that, she's the thing that she most regrets the most is that she never was given a chance to try to compromise. He put the brakes on, he froze this connection and he left, not giving her a chance to, sort of transform things or even make plans for the future. And this kind of left her sensitive to, some triggers possibly coming up for her about abandonment and different issues. But again, these were all lessons that needed to be learned between the two of them. Religious factors. So this religious factors card is not only has to do with religion, but it also has to do with belief systems that you're raised with and structures, family structures, and possibly that is what sort of led to some of the issues that they had, that their family structures or beliefs that they had about families and bringing new people, kind of blending families, maybe that wasn't on the table at the time. So the religious factors were an issue, and she regrets that because that could be part of what she liked about the connection. So then we have criticizing one another will only lead to further unhappiness. Love and accept each other as you are, and your relationship will magically transform. So we did get the transformation card here as well. So I think that the fact that she you know, she was unhappy because they weren't able to try to transform this connection or transform the issues, you know, make changes so that, you know, things went a little smoother. Compromising. It says, in my heart, I'm waiting for you. I'm trying to move forward, but I'm waiting. So, you know, she knows that this is, you know, her person, and she wasn't able to compromise and hold this connection together. So now she's stuck, kind of holding space for him to learn his lessons, for him to figure it out and possibly return. You know, of course, we don't tell people to quote unquote wait, but, you know, holding space and, you know, knowing that, believing that things that are meant for you will come back to you and remaining positive and all that is a whole part of the lessons of separation as well. Okay, so the next question, how are you feeling about your counterpart currently? So current energies, divine masculine, what are the current energies towards your divine feminine right now? Twin flame. Analytical. The lady. And seeker. So he's kind of woken up to the fact that this is a significant connection. It's possible that he's now heard the term twin flame and that he might be researching it, and he might realize that, hey, you know, she might have been right. This is something significant here. So he's been a lot in his head about this connection and really thinking it through, because to him, you are the lady. I believe this is also the Empress. So this is somebody, you know, that he is very admires for their power and their strength and, you know, all those feminine qualities that Empress embodies. And then the Seeker card, even though they're separated, he is kind of keeping an eye on her, making sure that, you know, maybe he's checking to see if she's moved on, or checking to see, you know, she's still around waiting for him. So keeping an eye on her at this time, even though they are separated. We have new love. So it's possible that, you know, now that he's kind of aware of this connection, this is stirring new feelings for him. You know, bringing up those romantic feelings for him, you know, that he tried to get away from. So it looks like there might have been a breakthrough during this separation, you know, that now he realizes exactly, you know, sort of what he had. So it says acceptance is the key to inner peace. At times we must accept things as they are. There's no point trying to change which is beyond our control. So I think what he's saying here is that even though he knows now that this is a significant connection, he had to sort of accept the fact that, you know, she wasn't fitting in his current situation at the time. And, you know, the separation had to happen. And he's accepting it instead of being regretful and in like a negative type of energy towards her. And it says, I want to take a risk with you, but I'm afraid. So he is, you know, sort of thinking. He's thinking back on the connection and the feelings that were there. He knows this is a significant connection. It's stirring new feelings for him in this separation. And, you know, he's still kind of leery, he's still kind of afraid, and he really does want to come forward. So, you know, he's working through that energy. So let's find out from the feminine. How are you feeling about your masculine in this current time? So what's the current energy towards your masculine? We have destruction. So that's the Tower card. We have karma. Builder bee. And determination. So the feminine is still sort of in this energy of it being determined to bring to balance the scales here within this connection. The destruction card is the Tower card. So it's possible that, you know, she is going through some sort of change in her belief system, some sort of change in her environment at this time, but she's working hard and she's determined on, you know, sort of manifesting this connection back to life. Now we have soulmate. So she knows, you know, like we had in the other question, she knows this is her person. She knows this is where she belongs. This is her destiny. So she's sort of powering through all this sort of separate, this rough energy that's out there right now in this separation, remaining positive, remaining focused on this connection and really working hard on her lessons in order to bring it sort of round full circle to a new beginning. A new adventure awaits. Embrace it and live your dreams passionately. So she wants this new beginning. She's working hard to get to this new point, knowing that cycles are closing and, you know, there's new cycles beginning. So she's working towards this new beginning. And what else does she have to say? I would love to see you more often. Of course. They're in separation right now, but you know, she knows she's going to see him again. And, you know, when they do finally, you know, have this new beginning and kind of bring this around to, you know, a fresh start, she'd like to see it, you know, sort of unfold a little bit further than it has in the past. Okay, so next question. Where do you see yourselves going in the future? So from the divine masculine's perspective, what do you see as the future energies of this connection? A new direction. Future energies. Ghosted. Ignition. Long haul. So this is the energy of sort of a rebirth of this connection. He knows that in this separation he ghosted her, but that's a 10. So he wants to end that cycle of ghosting. The ignition is the start of something new. This, you know, passion reignited, the flame reignited. And long haul, this is your 10 of Pentacles energy. So this is about long-term commitment. This is about really kind of coming in and going for it. We're taking this connection in a new direction, kind of rebirthing it, reigniting it, if you will, with a focus on the long term. Forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in the present. So he's learning his lesson. He's learning to forgive himself and forgive others and let go of resentment and the things that really had him bottled up and held down, and, you know, pretty much away from his feminine. Deep in your heart, you already know the answer. Do what feels right. So deep in his heart, he already knows. He wants to make things right. He wants to, you know, bring this connection back to life. He knows he's the one that sort of froze her out, and, you know, he wants this reignition. He wants to warm it back up again. I'd like to see you, but I'm dealing with a lot of old karma right now. So it's possible that even though he wants all of this, he's ending cycles. He's clearing out, you know, some old junk that he knows he has to get rid of in order for him to move forward. So that's actually a very good energy for him to be in, knowing that he's clearing out this old stuff, even though he wants to take this in a new direction and see it kind of build up for the long term. He knows he needs to finish what he started before he can start something new. So that's actually a good energy for him to be in. Okay, so divine feminine, where do you see your connection with your masculine going in the future? What do you see as your future energies? We have purge. Self-discovery. Destiny calls. Decisions. So for what I get with these cards is that she is on this journey, this self-discovery journey, on her own. She's purging things, getting rid of things that are holding her back. She knows that destiny is calling, that, you know, this connection is going to come back around. It's meant to be. So, you know, she's sort of being very strategic about her moves and things that she's doing, but she knows that she needs to kind of let go of any resentment, of any, you know, thing that she could be holding on to about her masculine, about this separation, you know, maybe blaming him for something, bad feelings that she could be having. You know, she needs to kind of get rid of all that. And it's going to be a complete reset. So these two have to come together with releasing expectations from the past and ready to kind of start this on a fresh surface, you know, new, you know, in a new direction. So she kind of has to purge any feelings that she's holding on to of resentment about, you know, what has taken place between the two of them already. And then pay attention to red flags. So this is about also paying attention to signs and synchronicities. This is, you know, being so self-aware that, you know, you're not sort of delaying your own union. You're not standing in your own way or stepping on your own toes. You know, really being in the moment and really being aware of the steps that you're taking. Life is a series of constantly shifting cycles. When we resist change, we resist the natural flow of life and create unnecessary stress. Go with the flow. You'll be surprised where it leads. So she's going with the flow. She's allowing things, you know, this ripple effect here. On here, there's like a ripple effect happening in the water. She knows that, you know, for each thing that lesson that she learns, you know, she kind of releases things out, and things shift and change with each new lesson and each, you know, step that she takes, each decision that she makes. So she's paying attention. She's being very strategic, and really going with the flow and not holding on to expectation or old energy. I long to feel your arms around me. There it is. So yeah, so she, you know, she still has those feelings. She still knows that this is her person. This is her destiny. And she's really digging in and working hard, you know, to help heal their connection and, you know, bring about this new direction or this new change. Okay, if there was one thing that you wanted your counterpart to know, what would it be? So Divine Masculine, if there was one thing that you would like your Divine Feminine to know at this time, what would it be? Pride and ego. Tradition. Teamwork. Compassion. Okay. So what I'm getting from that is that, you know, it's possible that his pride and ego kind of got in the way, you know, and could have prolonged the separation. But I think that this coming up here, I think he's trying to say that he's kind of got his pride and ego in check. You know, he's ready to sort of make this a traditional type of connection. Maybe in the past through separations, maybe, they had sort of an in and out type of relationship, or no strings attached, or, kind of held on to each other's energy, without actually stepping into that commitment pool. But he wants to make things right. He wants to have this traditional connection with her. He wants to come together and work as a team, and move forward in this connection. And he's very aware of the feelings and the energy, how she was hurt, with his ghosting and with his actions. So he's really taking that into account as well, and hopefully, wanting to make things right. Kind of not holding things that were said or things that were done while they were apart, against the other one, if that makes sense. It's kind of a message that I'm getting. Okay. So we have romantic feelings. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. So we've got romantic feelings stirring here. He does have feelings for you, and he wants to explore them. I feel that it was never lost, even though the brakes were put on and things were kind of frozen, in this connection. He hasn't lost that loving feeling. That song just came into my head. Okay, so twin flames, your passion ignites. So he knows this is a significant connection, and this is his person, and this is why things are happening the way they are. And he just wants to recognize that he gets it now. I am trying to be strong and fight my feelings for you. So, until he's ready to sort of burst forward with all this emotion and all this feeling, in the other message, it was kind of like he's clearing old karma. He's, kind of doing some housekeeping on himself. So he's trying to be strong and really contain his feelings for you. That's how strong those feelings are, at this time. So let's find out from the feminine. If there was one thing you wanted the masculine to know, what would it be? Received. Unconditional love. Dissatisfaction. Wish fulfillment. So the message here is that the messages were received. She knows, maybe energetically, they could have been communicating telepathically or energetically, but she knows that he gets it now. She knows that he's been working hard and where he's at in his journey. So she's kind of saying, you know what, I get it. I understand why there had to be a separation. I understand the whole journey. I was dissatisfied with it. I was upset with it. Being apart was hard. But I am at this place of unconditional love for you. And you are my wish fulfillment. You are what I've wished for. And then we have passion. So she has passion for him. Her heart and soul sings, with the thought of coming back together. And then we have transformation. Your relationship is about to deepen. Love conquers and transforms all things. So being that she is in this energy of unconditional love, you know, the wishes being fulfilled, you know, that love is going to conquer, you know, this fear that he has about coming forward. So there's going to be a transformation here of this connection. Let's see what else she has to say. I feel like you're hiding something. Well, he is. He's hiding his feelings from her, isn't he? So she's really tuned in to his energy, and she knows that he's, you know, trying to keep things from her, you know, because they're not communicating. So she kind of knows she's in tune. They're in tune with each other. It's actually really promising. Okay. So now a question for Spirit. So the current situation, that separation that this collective is in, these people, you know, whoever's coming to this reading, and if this resonates with them, what does Spirit have to say is the purpose of this separation? So let me get another set of cards here. Where are they? So I want to find out sort of what's the purpose of this current separation. All right, so we have don't dim to fit in. So what I'm getting here is, let me get a couple. Here's the current purpose. What lessons are they learning with this separation? We have the Death card. So they're transforming. Don't dim to fit in. What are you dimming your light in order to fit in? You know, maybe the significant connection in their life and in their journey. This is significant. This is something that needs to sort of take, not center stage, but is important, and it needs to be brought forward. Maybe there was some sort of reason that it had to be sort of subdued and hidden. And it's time that that transforms and that the light is no longer dim. We have the Ten of Pentacles. So, you know, this is the energies, you know, them learning their lessons and getting to a stronger point within themselves. It's going to, you know, sort of bring this to the forefront and allow it to, you know, be for the long term. This is also a card of, you know, kind of the whole thing. You know, this is family, this is stability, this is emotional fulfillment, this is pretty much everything, you know, for the long haul, for the long term. We have the Three of Cups. So, you know, it's possible here with what I'm getting with this card is that, you know, they needed to be stronger and really sever any third-party connections with other people. You know, it's also a card of, you know, celebration. And then we have the Hanged Man. So getting a different perspective about the connection, about themselves, about relationships as a whole. You know, not dimming what was there and illuminating the sun, illuminating things that, you know, don't dim your light to fit in, you know, let it shine. The sun, let the sun shine. We have Two of Pentacles. So it's about making a decision. It's about balancing out energies as well. And we'll get one more. In the Chariot, being able to move forward in this connection. Let's get a card here. This is a sacred union. Honor and treasure your relationship, for it is truly sacred. So this separation was to prepare these two counterparts, these two people, for sacred union within their journey. Completely get them through their transformation as individuals, get them on solid ground so that it was going to be stable enough to last the long term, to get rid of any third-party connections that might have been, to get a different perspective, to illuminate, and bring light to the situation, to make final preparations to move forward towards sacred union. So that's what this separation has done for this collective, and that's pretty awesome. Okay, and then we have one last question, and that is going to be advice from Spirit. And what does Spirit want you to know moving forward as the separation, comes to an end? Because we know all cycles come to an end. There's always an end. So what do we need to know going forward? We have the Dove. Take a leap of faith. So at the end of the day, at the end of the separation, when these cycles finally close for you, there's going to be, sort of a time where you're going to have to take that leap of faith. Both counterparts know that this is their person, know that this is destiny, and they just have to kind of hold on. I have to show you the bottom of the decks. Hold on to that passion, to that connection that they have, and really sort of, get ready to take the jump, take the leap of faith. The only way is up. Bottom of the deck, we have passion. So didn't I just say passion? Using their passions to kind of step forward. And we have union. So the overall energy of this reading, of this connection right now, of this separation, is about union. It's about family. It's about being nostalgic and going back to better times. Giving forgiveness where it needs to be given. And do the healing. Do the shadow work. And know your self-worth. Because communication is coming. And we'll be ending this pause. So have patience. There's a reinvention coming. Watch for signs and synchronicities. Because there is a commitment coming. There's a recognition that this is a special connection. And I'll just end it there. That was, I think, a beautiful reading. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the little bell so that you are alerted when I post things. You can follow me on all the socials at Lisa Ann Tarot. You can check out my services on my website, lisaanntarot.com, and book a private reading if you'd like. If my collective readings resonate with you, then I'm tapping into your energy. So, we can get you a more detailed private reading if you so desire. So have a good night, and thank you for watching.